What if I told you that the history we learned in school is incomplete? That among the ruins of ancient civilizations, there are objects that simply shouldn't be there. Artifacts so advanced they seem to echo a forgotten future, challenging everything we think we know about our past. These are not myths or legends. They are real objects, which you can see in museums, but they carry secrets that science still struggles to decipher. They force us to ask an uncomfortable question: did our ancestors know much more than we imagine? Welcome to Light and Shadows Global, the channel where together we explore the frontiers of the known, diving into the mysteries that history left behind. Today, we're going to investigate 5 impossible artifacts, out-of-time technologies that shouldn't exist. Our journey begins in Egypt in 1898 in the necropolis of Saqqara. Inside a tomb over 2,200 years old, archaeologists found a small wooden object, about 15 centimeters long. Catalogued simply as a bird figurine, it was forgotten for decades in a warehouse of the Cairo Museum. But this is no ordinary bird. Look closely. Its wings are straight and have an aerodynamic profile, like those of a modern glider. Its tail is vertical, like the rudder of an airplane, and not horizontal like a bird's. Aerodynamics experts who studied it were shocked. Its proportions are perfect for flight. In tests with replicas, it glides. The official explanation? A child's toy or a ceremonial object. But that doesn't answer the main question. How could the ancient Egyptians, millennia before the Wright brothers, have designed an object with such precise aerodynamic principles? Was it just a stroke of genius? Or is the Saqqara Bird a scale model of something much, much larger? The answer, for now, remains buried in the sands of time. Imagine finding a battery in an excavation of a 2,000-year-old village. It sounds like science fiction, but that's exactly what happened near Baghdad, Iraq in 1936. The artifact, known as the Baghdad Battery, is simple, but its implication is gigantic. It's a 13-centimeter clay jar with a copper cylinder inside it, and within that, an iron rod held in place by a bitumen seal. If you fill this jar with an acidic liquid like vinegar or lemon juice, substances common at the time, it generates an electric current of about 1 volt. It works. The million-dollar question is for what? The most accepted explanation by skeptics is that they were vessels for storing sacred scrolls. But the structure is identical to that of a galvanic cell. Alternative historians suggest incredible uses: electroplating to coat silver objects with gold, or even for medical purposes, in a primitive form of electrotherapy. If the ancient Parthians truly mastered a form of electricity, why was this knowledge lost for almost 1,800 years? The Baghdad Battery is a glimpse of a technological path that humanity might have followed and then mysteriously abandoned. Still in Egypt, on the underground walls of the Temple of Hathor at Dendera, there is one of the most controversial reliefs in archaeology. The carvings are enormous, detailed, and show figures holding objects that, to a modern eye, are unmistakable. They look like giant light bulbs. We see a large glass bulb, a serpent-shaped filament inside, and a cable that connects to a kind of power source, the Jed pillar. The resemblance to Crookes tubes, the forerunners of electric light bulbs invented in the 19th century, is striking. Egyptologists claim the scene is purely mythological, representing the birth of a deity from a lotus flower. But the practical question remains: how did the Egyptians decorate the dark interiors of tombs and temples with long, unventilated corridors without leaving soot marks from torches on the walls and ceilings. The absence of soot is a persistent archaeological mystery. Is the Dendera relief a symbolic representation or a literal instruction manual for lighting technology that we can barely conceive they possessed? In 1999, in Germany, two illegal treasure hunters found something that would forever change our view of the Bronze Age peoples. Buried along with swords and axes was a 30-centimeter bronze disc inlaid with gold symbols. This is the Nebra Sky Disk. At 3,600 years old, it is the oldest concrete depiction of the cosmos ever found. But it is much more than a star map. Scientists discovered that it was a complex astronomical tool. The golden arcs added later mark the angle of the sunrise and sunset at the solstices, and it was used to synchronize the lunar calendar with the solar one. This reveals a sophisticated astronomical and mathematical knowledge that no one believed the primitive peoples of Bronze Age Europe could have had. They weren't just looking at the stars, they were measuring, calculating, and using the sky as a precise clock and calendar. The Nebra Sky Disk shows us that the scientific revolution might have begun much earlier than we imagined. In 1901, divers searching for sponges near the Greek island of Antikythera found the wreck of a Roman ship that had sunk 2,100 years ago. Among the statues and amphoras, there was a corroded and shapeless block of bronze. For decades, it was ignored, considered a worthless piece of a statue. It was only with X-ray technology 50 years later that the secret inside was revealed. Within that block, there was a system of over 30 bronze gears, interconnected with the complexity of an 18th century Swiss watch. It was a mechanism of astonishing precision. Today, we know what it was. The Antikythera mechanism was an analog computer. By turning a crank, its dials could accurately predict the position of the sun, the moon, solar and lunar eclipses, the phases of the moon, and even the dates of the Olympic Games. There was nothing remotely similar in technological complexity for over 1,000 years after its creation. It's a leap, an anomaly in the history of engineering. Finding this mechanism is like finding a laptop in the ruins of Rome. Who built it? Where did this knowledge come from? And most intriguingly of all, what other technological secrets of the ancients still lie silent at the bottom of the sea? The Saqqara Bird, the Baghdad Battery, the Dendera Lights, the Nebra Sky Disk, and the Antikythera mechanism. They are more than just curiosities. They are pieces of a puzzle that show us a different picture of our past, a history that is richer, more complex, and far more mysterious. They prove that humanity's journey was not a simple, straight line of progress. It was a path with incredible peaks of genius and valleys of lost knowledge. And it is here, in the dance between the light of what we know and the shadows of what we do not yet understand, that the true adventure of knowledge takes place. Which of these artifacts shocked you the most? Is there another impossible object you would like us to investigate? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Your curiosity is the fuel for our channel. If you enjoyed diving into these mysteries with us, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to Light and Shadows Global, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation. Until next time.